This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Hot seat. Nova Scotia Power officials get grilled over stolen data that should have been deleted years ago.
Unsafe lanes. Truro area cyclists push for safer streets, arguing local bike infrastructure has fallen behind.
And ageless par. This 85-year-old golfer shoots an even 72 at one of Nova Scotia's toughest courses.
Not too hot today, but it was a little soupy, and that means showers and thunder showers possible tonight. As for how your Wednesday is shaping up and your long-range forecast, I'll have those details just ahead.
Good evening. Nova Scotia Power officials were grilled today at a tribunal about last year's massive cybersecurity breach.
And they revealed new details about how the personal information of hundreds of thousands of people was accessed. The CBC's Taryn Grant reports.
5 years ago, Nova Scotia Power made a copy of 30 years' worth of customer data, personal information collected to verify identities and set up accounts. It went into a digital storehouse called a data lake, where it was supposed to be deleted after a short time, but it was not deleted. Officials called it an unfortunate oversight. They could not say exactly why it happened.
It puts a certain cast on what the events that happened that we didn't have before.
That's the data cyber criminals accessed last year. The revelation came at an Energy Board hearing out of questions from the consumer advocate. No one from the utility would do an interview during Tuesday's hearing.
Hopefully there are going to be systems, and I think I heard reference to a number of them. There are going to be systems put in place that will make it less likely that this happens again.
This former military intelligence operator says threat actors are becoming more aggressive, and Nova Scotia needs to be better prepared.
What I'd like to see happen is actually greater authority by the board.
He says the Energy Board should be empowered to seek out cyber weaknesses at every utility in the province and in local governments. Taryn Grant, CBC News, Halifax.
Local residents and a CBRM councillor are voicing their concerns about the amount of crime and drugs in the community of New Waterford. A public meeting with police and the mayor will be held on Wednesday. And as the CBC's Kyle Moore reports, they've needed to change venues to accommodate a larger crowd.
New Waterford has faced economic decline since the closure of its last coal mine in 2001. Jobs have dried up and poverty rates have risen.
I feel like people are desperate. You know, there's a lot of poverty here. I believe it's a 44.2% child poverty rate in 2020, which means it's probably gone up since then.
Chris Kaiser is the manager of a youth center in the community and sees it firsthand.
There's always people on the street who look like they may be using drugs right out in public. We've had volunteers that have found needles on the street just outside these doors here at the youth center.
The local councillor is concerned about the amount of drugs in the community he feels is fueling theft and crime.
Spoke to 10 business owners in town this past week, and every one of them told me the same thing, that it's never been this bad. I mean, we have kids doing it, like starting as young as 6 and 7, and it's terrible. It's terrible what's happening in Waterford right now.
Darren O'Quinn says it's so bad that he's invited the chief of police and the mayor to a community meeting so residents can voice their concerns.
I'm hearing from seniors that they're afraid to, go get their medication at the drugstore and walk to their car with it. I'm hearing from seniors that live in seniors' homes that they're saying that there's young people moving into these homes that are dealing drugs in these homes and that they don't feel safe.
The meeting on Wednesday will start at 6 p.m. It was originally scheduled for the New Waterford Fire Hall, but has been moved here to the community arena to accommodate a larger crowd.
For municipal side, it is policing. I mean, on the provincial side, it's housing, and federal side, it's harsher laws. There's a lot of layers to this, and we're going to tackle it on our side first, see if we can do investigate to make things better, and then hopefully the other branch of government will chime in and do the same.
The goal to find solutions to problems O'Quinn says people want addressed. Kyle Moore, CBC News, New Waterford.
Some libraries slated to close on September the 30th will remain open an additional 6 months following a donation from Nova Scotia author Rachel Reid. The Annapolis Valley Regional Library runs 11 branches. 5 of them were set to close at the end of next month. On Monday, Reid announced a $300,000 donation to the library, which will keep those branches open until the end of the fiscal year. The Annapolis Valley Regional Library CEO calls Reed's gift, quote, profound and generous, but says it's no replacement for consistent government funding.
Very, very helpful and so welcome, enormously so. And yet we know that the next fiscal year is coming and that the challenges are going to remain. So it's still very much a sense of urgency that we need to address this issue.
Reed's donation will be used almost exclusively to cover staffing costs at the 5 branches slated for closure. The money will run out at the end of March.
Halifax councillors have rejected a proposed housing development in a historic Black community following strong local opposition. The developer hoped to build a 6-story shared housing facility with special care aimed at seniors in Lake Loon. The building would create 125 housing units beside the links at Montague Golf Course. But residents had concerns about the size of the project in a low-density neighborhood near historic unmarked graves. Last week, the Harbour East Marine Drive Community Council voted down the project. Anthony Riley is president of the Lake Loon Cherrybrook Community Development Association.
That's why it's not great to try to celebrate a war, because the war isn't over. That was just the first battle. Actually, the first battle started when he brought this proposal, and this is another battle. This got defeated at this point in time, but that's the second time he's gone to council. So who's to say in the future that it's not going to turn around another way? So it's a battle we continue to fight and see how things go in the future.
The developer can now appeal the decision to the Nova Scotia Regulatory and Appeals Board.
Canadian businesses are bracing for a potentially huge hit tonight just after midnight Eastern time. A 50% tariff on selected goods that could effectively shut them out of their biggest market. At least one member of the Prime Minister's Advisory Committee is saying we should continue to hold a strong line.
We cannot just sit by and have the U.S. wallop us over the head with tariff after tariff after tariff and just take it, give concessions and not fight back.
The levies would hit about $28 billion in Canadian exports, including products currently protected under CUSMA. Let's get a quick check on the weather forecast now. Here's Jay Scotland.
Yes, Jay, it sounds like that muggy weather is sticking around.
Yeah, we saw temperatures not that warm today. I think it was 21 at Stanfield, into the low 20s for most of the Halifax area, but it felt 29 with the humidex. That's a big gap between the actual temperature and what it feels like. And it was similar across the province, which is why, even though it's looking less so than it was yesterday for this time, I will keep through the evening hours. Still that slight risk of a few more moderate pockets of rain associated with thunderstorms. Better chance for more northern and eastern areas tonight, and that risk will continue past midnight into the overnight hours tonight. Cape Breton even through a good chunk of tomorrow. But that humidity could result in some fog, some drizzle, light showers, drizzle, fog patches to start the day tomorrow morning. Conditions do gradually begin to ease, and the sun breaks start to become more frequent afternoon and evening. But that 25-degree daytime high, although really not that warm for August, could feel into the low 30s, 32, 33 with the humidex. So it will be another muggy one as we look ahead to your Wednesday.
All right, we'll be ready for it. Thanks, Jay.
All right, thank you, Jay.
Cycling is growing in popularity in Truro and Bible Hill, but infrastructure lags far behind. And as safety concerns grow following a recent crash, local cycling advocates are calling for real action on safer roads. The CBC's Luke Ettinger went for a ride around town to learn more about the issue.
Two fingers tight or one finger loose, no flat. Yeah. So just a little tighter.
For Daisy Roberts, safe cycling starts with education.
Because whatever side you're on, the pedal should be forward so that you have all that room.
She says road cycling is popular in Truro and Bible Hill, but there's more bike stores than lanes. Just one 500-meter painted line on Brunswick Street.
In my opinion, I mean, I've been here 26 years in business, and in my opinion, nothing has changed. Actually, it's gotten worse, in my opinion, which is really sad because people want to be active, people want to be out on the road, but it's not working.
Multi-use paths were the focus of Turo's 2024 Active Transportation Plan. The average cost per kilometre was $1 million then. Another active transportation plan was just completed in Colchester, but there are no new routes yet, leaving cyclists like Darlene Marshall sharing the road.
We don't have the population to do too much, but there's got to be some sort of a a route they could do, just to get into town, to get out of town, that type of thing.
Marshall says route planning is essential to avoid busier streets.
There are certain roads in Truro that I avoid at all costs if I'm cycling. Prince, Roby, Willow, and so those are streets that I often see cyclists on the sidewalk.
Safety concerns drive a lot of cyclists to use sidewalks here. And last month, a cyclist was hospitalized after a crash involving a truck on College Road. Some say a bike lane on that street or Pictou Road would be a safety improvement, but that would be up to the province. The Village of Bible Hill says there's no active discussions at this time.
There needs to be some way that we can incorporate cycling safely into our town and our county, because there's a lot of beautiful roads out there, like beautiful, loops that we could take, and they're just not that safe.
For now, Robert says cycling safety has to be top of mind, whether you're on 2 wheels or 4. Luke Ettinger, CBC News, Bible Hill.
Cape Breton University's new medical campus will finally welcome students this week. The new building was under construction last year when the first group of med students started. The program focuses on rural and family medicine. The goal is to welcome 30 students to the school every year and have them stay in the province. The university says local doctors have been stepping up to teach at the school after early concerns about adding more work to physician schedules. Well, a Nova Scotia golfer recently achieved a rare feat.
85-year-old David McDonald shot an even par 72 at the New Ashburn Golf Club. The CBC's Richard Woodbury took to the links to find out more.
How about that? Par from the bunker.
When 85-year-old David McDonald goes golfing, he makes a lot of pars. He's a member at Ashburn and plays 3 to 4 times a week at the new course in Fall River. He usually shoots in the high 70s, but on a recent day, he shot even par.
I was very excited to shoot 72 because I hadn't done that in a while. One time it used to be routine, I wouldn't say pretty close, but no, it was a good day. Everything fell into place.
New Ashburn is long and considered one of the province's toughest courses. Even playing from the silver senior tees, it's about 5,800 yards long.
In golf, shooting your age is a feat. Now beating it by 13 strokes? Well, that's impressive.
Peter Sterling often plays with McDonald. He saw him shoot the 72.
It's tremendously impressive. I mean, for one thing, he walks whenever he can. He hates to ride a cart unless he gets very hot. And he keeps fit. He walks all winter and doesn't practice much anymore, but he did a lot back in the day when he was playing competitive golf. And he's just a great guy to play with.
Off the tee, McDonald usually hits the ball very straight, landing in the fairway and avoiding trouble. He also has a strong short game, which gets him out of jams. McDonald took up golf when he was 30 and was stationed in Cape Breton with the Air Force. He was hooked from the time he first played it. From 1996 to 2000, he won the Nova Scotia Senior Men's Championship each year. That tournament is open to golfers 55 and older. In 2005, he was inducted into the Cape Breton Sport Hall of Fame. McDonald has 17 career holes in one.
Yeah, I've been lucky. Like I said, people kidded me about them, but it's hard to believe that you can get 17. But I'm working on 18 for the last 3 years.
McDonald says that while he previously had some issues with his heart, his knees, hips, and legs are all strong. He credits healthy eating and exercise as being the keys to success. He has no plans to slow down.
I don't want to sit at home and do nothing, but this great game has kept me on the go, and it inspires you to every day come over here and play and practice and be with your friends, really.
Richard Woodbury, CBC News, Fall River.
There's some commuters heading home. Jay is up next with the weather forecast. Do stay with us.
It's always a balance, isn't it? We want the lawn to be healthy. We want things to be nice and green, but at the same time, mowing 2 times a week feels like too much. But it is nice that we had some wet weather to keep things from getting too crispy. And it wasn't that hot today. Temperatures across the province, anywhere from, well, you can see 18 to, well, 24, 25. I think hot spot, as we look to Greenwood, was 26. But most areas, just because we did see clouds, we saw some light mist, drizzle, showers, few more moderate pockets of rain building through, convective showers today. That did tend to keep the daytime heating down, but that humid air made it feel high 20s to low 30s across much of Nova Scotia today, and that could result in some fog patches forming tonight. We could see some more convective showers, and for more northern areas, as we look up towards the Northumberland shore, east through Cape Breton, you are going to see that thunderstorm potential, not just this evening. It is a slight risk, but overnight, and as we look east towards Port Hawkesbury and then up through Cape Breton, you're looking at a good chance of some thunder showers even into tomorrow morning, early afternoon as well. So taking a look at the satellite and the radar picture over the last few hours, you can see some more moderate pockets of rain are there. Really, it was off and on showers and periods of rain across the province today. You did see more in the way of some sun breaks from more northern areas, but still a lot of low cloud that we're not seeing on the satellite imagery here. Even some drizzle there today. Watch for fog patches, and it could get a little unsettled there as we move towards midnight and through the overnight hours tonight. As we look up towards the Northumberland shore, east to Cape Breton, this is where I do see that thunderstorm potential lingering past midnight tonight. And into tomorrow, you can see heavier showers for more eastern areas up into Cape Breton. This is where you could get a rumble of thunder that does have a brief but very heavy downpour potential possible. You're already starting to see things after the fog starts to lift, clearing down for the South Shore region. Some showers may linger into the afternoon before starting to wind down into the HRM as well. May see those showers a little longer up into Truro, east through the Northumberland, eastern Northumberland as we look through the afternoon as well. But eventually it does wind down late afternoon through early evening for more northern and eastern areas, and then could persist a little later still before finally winding down for folks in Cape Breton. Now into Thursday, we start out with some fog in the morning. Then we just have a mix of sun and cloud with off and on showers and cloudy periods to contend with. And there is a chance with some humid air still in place, a stray rumble of thunder or two could be possible on Thursday, which may result in some more moderate pockets of rain, typical summer weather for August, as we will have some soupy air in place for the next couple of days. So through the overnight hours tonight, with that humid air in place, we do have a good chance for not just coastal fog, but even inland areas could see some fog possible tonight. Mainly showers and drizzle for more southern and western areas as we look up towards, well, just east of the valley, towards the hub into Truro, along the Northumberland shore into Cape Breton. You still are looking at that chance of thunderstorms persisting past midnight. East of Halifax towards Sheet Harbour, you could see for an hour or two past midnight, that chance for thunder showers is still there as well. If you hear a rumble, you're likely going to see some more moderate to heavier rain. Shouldn't last too long, but that potential is certainly there. Watch for that fog to maybe linger into your early Wednesday morning, and that could result in some low cloud. That takes some time to lift. So the sun breaks as we look towards the South Shore, because you will start to see that clearing trend a little earlier in the day for you. They may not be as frequent as we'd like with that fog if it's very dense in the morning, but you'll eventually get there into the Yarmouth area. Showers could linger as we look towards Kentville and areas east into the afternoon, but by late afternoon, early evening, all of that should be winding down, except as we look towards Port Hawkesbury and up into Cape Breton. You do have that chance of thunderstorms, not just through the morning, but even into the afternoon hours, and showers likely could persist into the evening hours, well into the evening hours for folks in Cape Breton as well. And temperature-wise, for the areas that do start to clear a little earlier, could get up into the mid to high 20s. Most areas low to mid 20s, but with that humid air still in place, it's likely going to feel high 20s to low, even mid 30s for some areas. So let's take a look at your 7-day forecast. Over the next 3 days, we do see pretty much more of the same Wednesday and Thursday. Friday, seeing a fair amount of sunshine, some cloudy periods, temperature still quite warm, and then into the weekend, we do see some wet weather returning on Saturday. Good chance for clouds, showers, even some steadier rain Sunday into Monday as well, and those temperatures look to finally tick down too. So not a lot of uninterrupted sunshine days here on the next 7 days, but certainly feeling summery with the abundance of humidity over the next few.
That's the way to look at it.
Jay.
Trying to find a silver lining.
That's right. And we're back after this.
Well, sometimes it's not easy being blue. Just ask blueberry producers in this province. In recent years, severe drought throughout the province has deeply cut wild blueberry yields and strained fields. And despite less inventory, surprisingly, prices have remained relatively low. But all of that could change this year. Peter Van Dyke is the vice chair of the Wild Blueberry Producers Association of Nova Scotia and a grower himself. So the harvest is underway these days. How are things going in the fields?
Probably for most, it's better than expected. There's some areas that were hurt the worst in the drought last year are still very negatively affected and going into the second year. So that add insult to injury for those growers. But I think for a lot of growers, we're going to have an average crop or a little above.
Okay, can you just kind of put it in context for us? What was happening last year and maybe the year before that with those growing conditions? The crop took a real hit, did it not?
Last year was I've done this all my life, and last year was by far the worst I've ever seen as far as drought. Just went forever, and the temperatures and humidity was just on top of that. The plants are pretty resilient, but coming along, harvest basically starts early August on our end, and it's a little later as you go up the province, but we were starting to see negative effects probably mid to late July. And by early August, the blueberries had actually shriveled right up on the plants. Most of the berries were so tiny and shriveled up. When you harvest in those areas that were hit the hardest, the berries were still on the plant after you run your machine over. They were so tiny and they had no weight to them. So really negative effect as far as the provincial yield. Cut us in half, maybe a little less than half.
And so what has the big difference? I mean, is it just that we're getting that just enough moisture?
It's just enough moisture, and moisture also is quite timely. Blueberries are 85% moisture for the most part when they're ripe. And we had some nice rains through July, and that's the time when the berries are starting to ripen and starting to size. And I think we had perfect timing on those. But at the same time, if there's no blueberries there, some of the ones that were hurt, they didn't have blueberries to size up. So blueberries are we get paid by the pound. So the more of them there and the more water that's in them, the more pounds we have. And so that's, as a grower, that's what we're looking for. But again, it's hard to be really crazy excited about the crop, knowing that there's growers in this province that are suffering really poor production for the second year in a row and have the huge, we have huge input costs, and what's going on in the world. So those input costs have really skyrocketed this year. And then to have a poor production on top of that, it's really harmful to these growers.
Yeah, and I gather, maybe to add insult to injury, there was the problem with inventory last year. So many farmers and farms hit so hard, and yet the prices, I gather, remained relatively low. Can you explain that? And do you see that changing this year at all?
Well, last year's price did end up a decent price in the end. And I think this year, again, nobody's come out with a hard, fast price, but I'm pretty confident that the price will be similar to last year's, which is good to have that fairly reasonable price 2 years in a row, because the drought year came off of 2 years of terrible price. And so the farmers were struggling, even though they had yield in 23, 24. 25 was the devastating crop.
I know you don't like to presuppose things too much, but what are you expecting this season to turn out to be, price-wise and in terms of and productivity as well?
I think productivity for the province of Nova Scotia will be somewhere in our average of probably 45 million pounds. And again, I'm guessing and being optimistic, but I think our price will be close to 90 cents a pound, our field price, that is.
And in terms of lessons learned from the past few years, I mean, how much can you do to protect against the climate impact that you saw and the impact on the crop?
Well, we're probably learning a whole bunch of new things of what the plant does in these situations, because again, it was, in all of my years in the blueberry field, I've never seen anything that drastic. So, I've seen things in the fields this year, even though they look better. I've seen things that I've never seen before, but I'm blaming on conditions of the drought last year. A blueberry crop is a 2-year cycle. So last year, our crop was hurt severely, but what our fields, our other half of our acreage was in sprout. And so that's just growing a plant. And so the drought hurt those sprouts, which was going to be this year's crop. So, for a blueberry farmer, we had 24 months that Mother Nature can beat us up. And sometimes she does. And sometimes she's really nice to us. But it's not the same as just growing a normal vegetable crop where you seed and harvest within a few months, and you kind of can hold your breath that long and hope for the best. But it's hard to hold your breath for 24 months.
Yeah, well, it seems like it's been a challenge. We wish you the best this year. Peter Van Dyke, thanks so much.
You're very welcome.
Coming up, Canadian industries are closely watching last-minute negotiations ahead of Trump's midnight tariff deadline.
And the trial begins for Facebook and Instagram parent company Meta over child privacy and social media addiction claims. Welcome back. As we told you earlier, we are just hours away from the Trump administration imposing its 50% tariff on a wide range of Canadian goods.
The Prime Minister is expected to speak with the U.S. President before the midnight deadline. Ashley Burke looks at what could happen next.
Talks that could change the relationship between Ottawa and Washington, not over yet. Sources say the Prime Minister is scheduled to speak to Donald Trump again, the second call in 2 days, as Canada tries to stop a new round of American tariffs.
We cannot just sit by and have the U.S. Wallop us over the head with tariff after tariff after tariff and just take it, give concessions, and not fight back.
Canadian exports, including construction materials, alcohol, and dairy, could be hit with Trump's new 50% tariffs if a deal isn't reached by midnight. Some say the government is working on a plan to potentially retaliate.
Your plan A is a deal, and I think that will be the focus right up until the final hours. But they are looking at all options in terms of how could Canada have a serious response to this latest trade action.
Sources say Canada wants the U.S. to lower sectoral tariffs, including on Canadian-made vehicles, to a headline rate of 15%, down from 25%. But the dairy industry has been warned that a deal would likely include changes to its sector because the U.S. is pushing for it.
We're concerned. We've made a very clear message to our government that we don't want to see any further concessions.
One former U.S. ambassador to Canada says the tariffs would hit $20 billion of Canadian exports out of $400 billion.
I think not wise to blow up the world over the additional tariffs on that particular small slice of Canadian exports to the United States.
The Prime Minister under pressure to get a good deal.
All we've really seen from the Carney government since they've been elected last year has been concession after concession, just about always without getting anything in return.
Some industries are waiting to be briefed by the government about what happens next. With Trump, the situation could change quickly and unpredictably. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
The Prime Minister's office has just confirmed a call between Mark Carney and U.S. President Donald Trump happened this afternoon, but did not provide any details.
The looming 50% U.S. tariffs are designed to hurt Canadian businesses. Many have been scrambling even before those new levies to kick in on Wednesday. Thomas Daigle talked to business owners on this side of the border.
A symbol of Canada and a target of looming tariffs. Hockey sticks shipped to the U.S. are set to be slapped with a new 50% import fee, along with a wide range of other Canadian goods, from liquor to toilet paper.
We have a free trade agreement in place that eliminates this type of erratic behavior, so it's extremely frustrating.
No matter the existing trade deal, on Wednesday, the tariffs are slated to hit much of the gear Joey Walsh sells. He plans to absorb those added costs, but worries about potential confusion for his online customers.
The worst fear is that Americans are misinformed and that they don't understand that I'm going to handle it, that they're not going to be hit with a tariff.
Nearly $28 billion worth of Canadian exports could be affected. Among the sector's hardest hit, electronics and electrical equipment, plastics and furniture, bedding and lighting. On Cindy Baldassi's online jewelry store, she's already warning sales to the U.S. are temporarily suspended while I calculate the new tariffs.
It will be a substantial amount, possibly a loss of 50% or more of my business.
And consider the sting for beekeepers in Alberta, where much of their honey is sent wholesale stateside. The fear is the new U.S. levy will lead to a glut on this side of the border.
It will strand an enormous amount of honey on the prairies, and it could be really, really damaging to our price this year.
The Trump administration already adds a toll on Canadian autos, softwood lumber, and more. This round of tariffs is set to hit smaller exporters, leading to pleas for a last-minute deal.
Ideally, that deal will lower the current tariffs to a more manageable level.
For now, there's more uncertainty swirling over those barrels full of honey and so much else. Thomas Daigle, CBC News, Toronto.
Opening arguments have begun in a major trial against tech giant Meta in California. Dozens of U.S. states are accusing Facebook and Instagram's parent company of purposely designing its platforms to be addictive to children and illegally collecting their data. Michelle Song reports.
It's a legal fight over youth safety online, possibly changing how Facebook and Instagram operate, with potential damages of hundreds of billions of dollars. Meta, the company behind the social media platforms, is being sued by multiple states, accused of designing its apps to be addictive for young people and violating federal and state laws by collecting the personal data of its youngest users without their parents' permission. In a statement, Meta says the claims against it are unsubstantiated, adding, "We stand by our record of creating strong protections for teens."
I'm here today because my daughter should still be alive.
Parents who allege their kids took their own lives because of the mental health impacts of social media protested outside the courthouse.
But behind my daughter, we knew and loved, she was fighting a battle we could not see, a battle within the world of social media.
Meta has lost 2 legal battles over how its platforms target youth earlier this year. In this case, attorneys general want the court to force the company to add age restrictions and eliminate infinite scrolling.
If the states and other plaintiffs continue to win these initial cases, it really strengthens the likelihood that there'll be federal legislation on social media usage.
In Canada, Meta and other tech companies are being sued by several Ontario school boards for allegedly harming young people. As for the U.S. case, it's set to last 6 to 8 weeks. CEO and founder Mark Zuckerberg is expected to testify. Michelle Song, CBC News, Toronto.
A dire warning from the World Health Organization. The deadly Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo is growing fast, outpacing containment efforts. The Global Health Agency says it can still be brought under control with coordinated effort. Lauren Pelly has the latest on the disease and the push to find an effective vaccine.
The death toll in the Democratic Republic of Congo is soaring. Ebola has claimed the lives of more than 2,300 people, making this the deadliest outbreak in the country's history.
One of my engineers went to some of the village, told, I think they only left 2 people. The whole village of 100 people is gone.
Driving the spread is the Bundibugyo strain of the virus, which has no approved vaccines or treatments. This aid worker says the crisis could get worse as children in Congo head back to school next month.
So we are worried, damn worried, because the water and sanitation infrastructure in schools is not available.
There have been more than 5,000 confirmed cases, plus close to 20,000 contacts under follow-up across 6 provinces in Congo, as aid workers face ongoing conflict, civil unrest, and a lack of trust from the public.
People who are getting sick are not actively presenting themselves to doctors, hospitals, healthcare workers, community health workers, etc., because they're scared. They're seeing half of these people go in and they're not coming out.
The head of the World Health Organization warns the risk does not stop at the DRC's borders.
This is a real possibility that it spreads to, for example, South Sudan or back into Uganda or to new provinces. And that whole area might just be like a frontier for Ebola.
Uganda stamped out a small outbreak earlier this summer, while South Sudan is now mobilizing aid workers and shoring up surveillance at checkpoints.
We must do everything in our preparedness to prevent Ebola from entering South Sudan.
Vaccines targeting the outbreak's Bundibugyo strain are being studied, including here in Canada, but it could be months or years before anything is ready, leaving Central Africa without a crucial weapon to fight this devastating virus. Lauren Pelly, CBC News, Toronto.
An update from the federal government about fires burning across the country. Officials say there are currently more than 580 active wildfires, including 31 that are out of control. More than 4 million hectares have already burned. The Minister for Indigenous Service addressed the impact on Indigenous communities in BC and Ontario.
Communities in British Columbia continue to face significant wildfire activity in the southern interior and also on Vancouver Island. In northwestern Ontario, many First Nations have spent weeks responding to one of the largest wildfires and wildfire seasons in the province's history, and also facing dangerous conditions, evacuations, and uncertainty.
Wildfires in northwestern Ontario have caused significant damage and forced evacuation of a number of communities, including First Nations. BC's Fraser Canyon and Okanagan Valley have been dealing with a combination of heat and below normal precipitation. Several parts of the country have also seen prolonged hot and dry conditions, which have shaped this year's wildfire season. Forecasts show above average temperatures continuing for much of Canada through September.
A wildfire evacuation order has been lifted for much of Summerland, BC. The community of 12,000 was forced to flee earlier this month after an explosive fire threatened homes there. Many sought safety in the southern city of Penticton. A local initiative there has been giving evacuees a way to cope with their stress and trauma. The CBC's Tiffany Goodwin explains.
At this comfort center for evacuees, art is an escape. The paint hits the canvas, each stroke helping kids stay present in the moment, away from the horrors of the Bald Range wildfire.
So is that the bird that's flying now? Help up the water.
The Penticton and District Community Arts Councils providing outreach to evacuees, offering art as an outlet for kids and adults.
We believe in the value of art and how it can bring comfort and occupy those that are waiting in a time of crisis.
When Stephanie Lines, a poet, was forced to leave her home, she turned to what she knew best.
I am split open, smoldering, in wildfires of what I thought I knew. Was my home the house I left, or was it the couch I slept on last night?
The poem, a reflection of what was,
or the woods that were my refuge before they burned,
and is to come.
I really think of the land and how altered it will be, how altered it is already from the fires.
Heidi Abbott is an art therapist and is volunteering her time to help evacuees.
It gives a lot of people an opportunity to just sit and not have to talk about things. They can just give their nervous system a break, and they're trying all kinds of things, different things.
Part of being in limbo is the not knowing, but it's also not knowing what to do with yourself.
The initiative praised by Summerland artists who also had to be evacuated.
The practice of art really is about how we feel about ourselves, how we feel about our world. And that's why it's been so helpful for kids and families when they're offering these workshops.
Each piece of art, a step forward to help process and heal, as art works when words sometimes fail.
It's just such a light in all this.
Tiffany Goodwin, CBC News, Penticton.
Canada's main stock index lost ground today as the midnight deadline neared for the U.S. to impose a 50% tariff on many Canadian goods. Here is a look at the numbers now as we head to commercial break.
Sutherland in Sydney. If you want to know what's happening on Cape Breton Island and what's important to the people who live here, join me on Information Morning Cape Breton every weekday morning from 6 to 8:37 on CBC Radio 1.
And Jay Scotland back with us one last time to wrap things up weather-wise, at least.
And the word was soupy. That's what you said. The upcoming
Yeah, I mean, it's
future.
not too hot, but it is going to be a little soupy, much like today. I mean, we're 21 degrees, but it felt 8 or 9 degrees above the actual temperature, and we're going to be looking at a similar spread from the temperature to the humidex tomorrow as well. Humidity is the fuel for some convective weather, so we do still have that chance this evening across much of mainland Nova Scotia. For more northern and eastern areas past midnight tonight of some isolated thunderstorms, the risk is a bit less so than what we were seeing for this time yesterday, but certainly is still there. We will watch for the steadier rain to start to wind down past midnight, just fog and drizzle lingering as we look through the valley down into the South Shore region. Morning showers, some fog, some drizzle also possible across the HRM. Watch for the showers as we look up towards Truro to maybe persist into the afternoon a little bit longer than more southern and western areas, and you'll see those showers finally winding down late afternoon, evening, although there is that risk of thunder showers as well persisting through much of the morning and into the afternoon up into Cape Breton as well. See that sunshine? It's an optimistic outlook here on this forecast model, or that clearing sky, I should say, late afternoon through the evening, but we do eventually see that clearing trend getting there later in the day. So starting out with some, for the HRM, some showers, some fog, some drizzle possible into the morning hours. That wind not too brisk, which is why that fog may not just be along the coast, but could be inland as well. Once it does lift, we do see the sun breaks start to appear late morning, early afternoon. Still a lingering shower chance into the early afternoon, maybe some drizzle as well. And then finally starting to see those sun breaks becoming a bit more frequent into the late afternoon, but 25 with that wind from the southwest, that humid air in place, probably going to feel around 31, 32 with the humidex, and some areas could be feeling as warm as 34, 35. Wow. So even though it's not too hot, we'll be a little muggy for your Wednesday.
Yeah, getting up there for sure. Okay, thanks so much, Jay.
Thanks, Jay. A New Brunswick couple in their 80s have been picking up litter on their daily walks for years.
Now there's a word for it, and researchers say what they're doing matters more than they know. The CBC's Jennifer William reports.
Phyllis and John Ohms, now in their 80s, started plogging way before the actual term was coined in Sweden. It means jogging or walking while picking up trash.
I used to jog every morning, a 5-kilometer jog, and I noticed a litter and I said, someone should be picking up this stuff, but I didn't realize it was me.
He's like a pointer dog. He just points and I go pick it up.
The couple started 21 years ago, and the difference they've made is measurable.
At the start, it was common to pick up 15 bags a day.
Yeah.
Now it's no more than 5.
Yeah. And then John helps me up. Okay, I'm good.
The word for what they do was coined in 2016 by Erik Ostrom, a runner in Sweden who got tired of watching people walk past trash and decided to do something about it.
I can use my hands for something else and just doing nothing, you know. They is moving around when you're walking or running, so why don't just bend down and pick up some litter? So that was I did, and then I was start organizing like cleanups.
A recent study out of Cape Breton University, which included participants from New Brunswick, found that plogging does something a regular walk simply cannot. It builds community across generations and improves mental health. And most of the people doing it have never told a soul.
They're not boasting on social media that they're doing this kind of work and everything. They're just doing it, again, for the love of their communities.
Oh, there's Bear! Oh! For John and Phyllis Ohms, the walk is never just a walk.
Okay, there we go. There's your treat. It's not a burden. We enjoy the walk, and if there wasn't one piece of litter in this town, we would still be walking every day for the exercise.
We do it for the exercise.
Yeah.
It's like a little duty that you have to do every day, and it gives you a purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, making a difference too. Yeah, nicely done. Okay, finally tonight, you can call this a modern day odyssey. Yes, the return voyage of one of the ships that was actually used in Christopher Nolan's new epic film. Thankfully for its crew, it did not take 10 years to come home despite some choppy waters.
Yes, it's the world's largest modern Viking ship, an actual seafaring medieval-style vessel. Back in its home berth in Norway, crew members are talking about their Hollywood adventure.
And that is impressive for sure.
Yep.
That's it for us tonight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good night.